Good afternoon. I'm Jessica Inman, and you're watching a special edition of Orlando Sentinel's Politics Now. Today we're going to learn more about the candidates running for Winter Park Commission Seat 3. Joining me today is Lambrine Macejewski and Carolyn Cooper. Let's learn more about the candidates.
Oh, thank you very much for having us, Jessica.
Carolyn, you want to start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
I would love to. I'm Carolyn Cooper. I have served as a Winter Park City Commission for the last 2 terms, 6 years. Prior to that, I served on the Planning and Zoning Board, and prior to that, I was part of Winter Park's Growth Management Plan Task Force. So I know a lot about land use and a lot about Winter Park far beyond Park Avenue. At the regional level, I serve on the Tri-County Board of Directors. At the state level, I am on their Policy Committee for Growth Management and Finance and Taxation, as well as their advocacy team. And I advocate in Tallahassee for 400 cities, and last year I was recognized as the Home Rule Hero by the Florida League of Cities. Prior to coming to Winter Park, I was Director of Contracts for Martin Marietta, and prior to that I served as a Program Manager and a Finance Manager for Weapons Systems representing the Nation of Israel in DoD. And I am here for Winter Park. I believe I'm the best qualified for the job, and I hope to continue to serve.
Okay, next we have Lambrine Macejewski.
Yes, hi, I'm Lambrine Macejewski. I'm a wife. I'm a mom, I'm a businesswoman, I have an accounting degree. I'm one of the owners of Casino 214, and that's actually what got me involved with the city. But we opened our business 5 years ago during the recession. We created 60 new jobs. Again, we're celebrating our 5-year anniversary this year, which I'm very proud of. I serve on 4 local boards, the History Museum, the Park Avenue Merchants Association, which I'm past president, Keep Winter Park Beautiful and Sustainable, and Leadership Winter Park. And I believe in the mantra, making things better than you find them. And that's what I've done in Winter Park, and that's what I want to continue to do. Thank you.
Okay, and so for my first question, I want to ask you each how you would address development in Winter Park while still preserving the city's character. We'll start with you, Lambrine.
Okay, yeah, great question. I'm a little bit concerned with what's happened on 1792, the development that's happened there. It looks to me more like Highway 50, Colonial. That to me doesn't have the charm and uniqueness of Park Avenue and Winter Park. I look at what we did with Cosina. We went on a side street, pretty neglected street. The building had been vacant for several years, and we came in and we revitalized that street. We now have 2 new businesses on it. So I think growth is important, but it needs to be done in a very balanced way. When I helped on the private dining ordinance, one of the things we did was looked at protecting the avenue from fast food chains. We wanted to protect, the growth, and we wanted to keep the charm and uniqueness, and we achieved that with the private dining ordinance. So I think you can do it. It just needs to be done in a balanced and very careful way.
Okay, and Carolyn, same question for you.
Thank you very much. I have been an advocate for reasoned development in Winter Park for a long time. I did work on the Comprehensive Plan Task Force, so we did make it a point to allow density in those areas of the city where it would not impact single-family homes, where the traffic could be absorbed, and certainly where it continued to allow Winter Park to remain a community of distinction. So quality is very important. I do understand the land use codes. We do have entitlements that developers have to develop within the existing zoning, but when it comes to changing zoning, we have to be very, very cautious to make sure that we remain a community of distinction and that we don't burden our single-family neighborhoods with traffic or with commercial development.
Okay. And for my next question, what do you each think the Commission should do to decrease crime in Winter Park? And Carolyn, we'll start with you this time.
Well, I was very fortunate this last budget session to be able to unfreeze 2 of the police positions that we have had frozen since 2009, I believe. We have a great police department, and we have implemented some technology. DDAX has been in place since 2011, and it helps us place the police officers where we have the most likely areas where there's crime, which interestingly enough is associated also with traffic accidents. We are also trying to get funding for stationary license tag readers, because if we do that, that helps us track down the criminals, and oftentimes it helps us stop crime before it even starts. But it is important that we bring our staffing level for the policemen back up, because the windshield's always bigger than the rear view mirror, and we're getting all the offload from I-4. Every time a police officer has to go to I-4 for a traffic accident, it takes an hour of his time out of our neighborhoods. So as we move forward, we need more people and better technology, and I have proven a commitment to make that happen.
Thank you. And Lambrine, some questions.
Great question. Crime. You know, we've had to deal with it firsthand. My daughter was actually in a school lockdown in December. Several other schools were also on a lockdown because of a burglary that happened in Park Grove. Cocina 214, our restaurant, was on a lockdown just a couple of weeks ago because of an armed robbery that happened on Park Avenue. So crime is a big concern right now. And there are some proactive things we can be doing. I believe in police decoy cars. The neighborhood that I lived in, we had about 6 burglaries happen. They brought a decoy car. It's where they placed the police car in the neighborhood. They moved it around. We didn't have any burglaries after that. They're proven that they work. We only have 2 decoy cars in our entire fleet. We should have more because they're an easy, proactive way. People see a police car, they don't want to go there. So that's one thing. Second is, Carolyn touched upon it, and that is having the right technology for our police officers. We have a fantastic police force. We need to give them the tools that they need to be successful. We can do that, and we should do it. I also believe in workforce housing. Workforce housing is not affordable housing. It's a totally different income level. It's something very different, but it would allow our police officers to live within our community, to be that extra set of eyes and ears. We can do single-family homes where, again, police officers are living in our community. So, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And so, do you both think that historic preservation is important, and what would you do to further that in Winter Park? And we'll start with you, Lambrine, this time.
Great question. Absolutely. Cocina is actually in a historic building. It was originally the Tiffany Museum. History is important. It's where we came from. It's part of our tapestry of our community, so it's very critical. I do not believe in the ordinance as it was passed in December. I believe that property owners should voluntarily put their property on the historic registry if that's what they want. And we've had many people who have done that, and I applaud them. The Cummer Kilbourne House just celebrated their 100th birthday. It's this beautiful home, historic home, right on Garfield, right in the middle of downtown Winter Park, that's been beautifully restored, and they voluntarily put it on the registry. The mayor did a proclamation there, and it was wonderful to see the family members. 24 of them came from all over the country to celebrate the home. So it can be done. The ordinance, there's a lot of people who don't agree with it. When we did the private dining ordinance, people didn't think we could get it done. They thought that there's no way you'll get property owners to agree to what you wanted, but we did. And when we got to the commission, it was unanimously approved. The historic ordinance, people were up there still at 10:45 at night. Still arguing their points. So there's still more work to be done, and I think we should go back to that, back to the table.
Okay, thank you. And Carolyn?
For me, historic preservation really is 3 very important different items. The first is that we must protect the historic integrity of Park Avenue. The second is I would like to see us incentivize those 130 homeowners who have truly architecturally significant homes. I would like to incentivize them to list voluntarily. And the last thing is, I believe when a neighborhood chooses to become a historic district, we should have a very fair and very democratic process in place so that they can do that. So I am in favor of the changes we made. Winter Park is a city of culture and heritage. And this is a little chart, but what it shows you, Jessica, is that Winter Park was on the bottom, the hardest historic preservation ordinance that we had in the state. And we are a city of culture and heritage, so certainly that is not acceptable. In many cities, The city government actually decides what will become a historic district. So in Winter Park, we are already deferring to our residents and allowing them to have a democratic process to make that decision. Thank you.
Okay, and for my last question is, if elected, what would you like to change on the commission? We'll start with you this time.
Good. I have a lot of experience in that. I would love to see a more structured approach to development approval. And that means that it goes before the Bike and Ped Board, and they get to participate in saying, how do we create connectivity between this project, between the other neighborhoods, and between Sunrail? I would like to see it go through our tree preservation folks. There are lots of times that projects come to me. I call my city arborist only to find out that she hasn't been consulted. So I think just process-wise, we could do a much, much better job. We have put a lot of money into infrastructure to make Fairbanks appealing for development, and now I would like to see us as a commission with our Economic Development Board actually go out and try to recruit businesses to come to Winter Park so that we can have Class A knowledge-based businesses out on Fairbanks. I am very opposed to bringing more workforce housing to Winter Park. High-density residential development is a drain on our services and is not good for our property values.
Okay, thank you. And Lambrine?
Back to crime. I mean, that's one of the first most important things. I mean, we can be doing those proactive things. So having the decoy cars, absolutely giving the tools to our police officers. You know, having armed robberies now on Park Avenue. You know, that's something new. We haven't had that. We haven't had a lot of it. And again, being in a lockdown is scary. It was frightening for our employees. It was frightening for our customers. So crime is number one. Number two, you know, I've walked over 2,000 homes myself through this campaign, and you know, there's a disconnect, I think, about what's happening in the commission chambers with what, you know, I'm talking to people in neighborhoods. You know, there are some basic things that they're missing. Some of them have drainage issues. You know, they put up sandbags when we have heavy rains. This is in Winter Park. Ward Park, you know, I've talked to lots of families and actually went to the baseball fields there. Opening day was 610 kids and their families. And we have porta potties there. You know, my daughter plays soccer. She plays all over Central Florida. Apopka has much nicer facilities than we do, and this is Winter Park. So there's some disconnects. There are some gaps. Infrastructure too, electrical undergrounding, you know, making sure that that happens. Streetscapes, you know, there are people who don't have sidewalks. Their kids want to play 4 houses down and they're walking in the middle of the street. So there are some gaps that we haven't addressed that need to be. So that's what I would do as commissioner.
Okay, well, thank you both so much. I'm going to let you each finish off with any final words that you might have, and this time we'll start with Lambrine.
Okay.
Anything you want to add or
thank
say?
you. No, it's time for a change. You know, again, as I've walked and talked to people, they want new leadership. They want a new approach. They want to be heard. They want everyone to be heard. You know, there are gaps, and again, I believe in the mantra, leaving things better than you find them. I've done that with Casina. I've done that with the boards that I've served on, and you know, I'm honored and humbled that I've earned the trust and respect of 5 former mayors. They're endorsing me and they're supporting me. They're voting for me, and I would like your vote too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. My husband Ned and I have lived here for 22 years. 10 of those years I have actually served the residents of Winter Park. I love Winter Park. National Geographic Travel says that we are a gracious town, an oasis in the helter-skelter runaway development of Central Florida. I understand that your property values and your quality of life are directly dependent upon me making sure that we remain a city of distinction, and I am committed to do that. The people who know me best, Winter Park Maitland Observer, has spent 700 hours in meetings with me. They said that I am a diligent legislator, a champion of the character of Winter Park. What a wonderful compliment. And Winter Park Magazine says that no one controls Carolyn. She only cares about the residents of Winter Park. That's who I am. The developers have their representatives. They're called land use attorneys. and the residents have me. I research the issues, I listen to their input, and I vote independently. And I am asking for your vote on March the 15th. Thank you.
Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Thank you very much. Nice job, Jessica.
For more news about this race and all the others, please visit orlandosentinel.com.